Hello, today we remember the birth in 1930 of Harold Pinter, the Nobel Prize winning playwright, um, but also a director of plays and indeed of films and an actor himself, and someone whose work is often thought of as could be quite bleak, a certain dark humour about it sometimes, but not plays you'd go to if you wanted to be cheered up, probably. But the aspect of his personality I found interesting as I looked at him again. It was his perfectionism. A letter exists that he wrote to the manager of one of the theatres where a play he was directing was being performed, and after the first night he complimented the manager on the way the production had been staged, but he commented that one of the ice cream sellers had left the auditorium too late, so that when he shut the door, a bit of light was reflected onto the stage. And he also said that perhaps it wasn't quite appropriate that the play should start 8 minutes late. He wanted everything to be absolutely perfect. And this, of course, shows in the way he directs things and produces good results. I mean, sometimes apparently with actors that he was directing, he would insist on the exact right length of a pause. This kind of perfectionism produces great results, but it made me think about the whole nature of it, and as someone who is in some ways a recovering perfectionist, I think it's worth just thinking about the downside of being perfectionist, and partly it's what it does to the perfectionists themselves, because we can put so much pressure on ourselves to get everything absolutely right that we get quite unnecessarily upset and worried and anxious when we don't. And I think we sometimes need to let go of the perfectionist bit of us in order to get through life more calmly. And I think part of the trouble is that perfectionism is closely allied with completism. And actually, the urge, once you've started something, to make sure you finish it, which is something some of us were taught as children, but it can also be bind us to a kind of slave mentality of absolutely working through. I mean, I find it particularly true if my phone goes wrong and I can't put it right, I will go on and on until I get it right, or absolutely have to give up. We need perhaps sometimes to let go of the urge to complete a task, because sometimes you let it go now and you can do it quite easily later, but the pressure of feeling you've got to do it now sometimes disables us from being effective. But I think perfectionism also has its effect on the people around us. It can cause us to make demands of them which are unrealistic, cause us to want to worry them and upset them by the way we deal with our perfectionism. And so maybe today, for those of us who are addicted in a way to getting everything absolutely right, as Harold Pinter was, need to cool it a bit and just learn to let go, to stop before completion, to allow ourselves just to relax into accepting that we are, like everybody else, fallible.